Hey everybody, Kendra and Jay McKeever here from Cloud Next Level. So we have been in the Salesforce consulting world for a couple of years now, and we thought, sort of in the spirit of giving, we would share some of the lessons learned that we see sort of emerging as themes out there in the wild. And the first one that seems to always be on everybody's mind is my sales reps are not using our CRM and we don't know what to do about it. So we thought we'd give you some tips on how to maybe address this issue, which actually is pretty universal. And I'll just quickly tell you, so I've been on all sides of this issue. I spent a lot of my career as an enterprise account executive, so a salesperson. I've used Siebel, Dynamics, HubSpot, CRM, so lots of different systems, and this happens everywhere. So you're not alone if you're feeling this pain. But Jay, let's kind of share some of the things that have come up with our clients and how we help them to address this.
Will do. You start first.
Okay, I'll go first. So my first thought on this is just because you can doesn't mean you should. And what I mean by that is it's tempting to think now we can gather all of this data from our sales reps. So we'll just put fields on here and have them fill it in and we'll know everything about everything. The problem with that is it quickly becomes overwhelming. So when a rep opens up the input screen and they see 100 fields that are required, they're just like, oh my gosh, their eyes gloss over. They're like, how can I just get through this as quickly as possible? So remembering to kind of keep it simple, and I'll talk more about that in a second, but that would be the first thing that comes to mind for me. What about you?
So a lot of these salespeople that I've worked with in my recent career in CRM, there's always been a complaint that the only thing a CRM is used for is to bludgeon us with, you're not meeting your numbers, you're not making enough calls, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And that's not really what the tool is meant for. It's a management tool, but it's not a management tool to keep people online. It's a management tool to gather proper information, to get an understanding of where a sales cycle might be and what might be needed to help it. And it's more of a collaborative tool. So managers who use the CRM only to hold people accountable are going to sow more seeds of distrust and scare people away from it than they are from using it as a great collaborative tool to help everyone to be better at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you think about what it is, how you're going to use the system, how you're going to roll it out, kind of boiling it down to the simplest, what do we need out of the system? So if you think about from an executive perspective, what are they looking for as far as metrics, KPIs, different measurements that they are tracking? So understanding that, but then also what do the reps need to do their job better? Some of our clients have daily activity reports or dashboards. So it tells them exactly who they should be calling on, what they should be doing that day. So really focus on what is it that we need out of the system, and then let everything else, handle that in a different way so that you really make it easy for the reps to use.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's touch on another topic that we hear some pain around, and that is too much manual data entry, which actually does tie into our first topic. So okay. When I hear this, one of the first things that comes to mind is figuring out ways to eliminate, of course, as much data entry as possible. Your salespeople are smart, they're highly paid. You don't want them doing, just data entry work. So there are a lot of tools out there that will help them to cut some of that out. So for instance, we just did an integration with Inside View. There's an app on the App Exchange for that for Salesforce to integrate. So that will allow data for leads to be populated, to be cleaned on a regular basis so that reps don't necessarily need to be going in and validating data of who they're calling on and how to reach them. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. What about for you?
Well, you bring up a great point. Anytime that you can supplement reps' activities with information that has more detail, it's richer information. Number one, you remove some of the human error that can occur with data entry, and then you take the stress off of them. So there's another great thing. You mentioned Inside View. I'm a former user of Inside View, love it. But there's also RPAs, robotic processing automation. And this is a cool little tool. It's AI technology. And what that tool will do is it'll do a lot of data cleansing for you. It'll go out and grab information off of the internet and add to maybe data you already have in there. But it just makes reps more productive quickly, and it saves them from the drudgery of having to get in and type things out and do a number of things that really are not what companies are paying them to do. You want them to be the great interface between prospects and your products, not some data entry person that, it's spending a lot of time doing menial tasks, right?
Absolutely. Having everybody do their best work is really the goal. So one more topic, because I think we have just another second to talk about, but we preach this and believe so firmly in it that the best way to improve your ROI with Salesforce or any other CRM is training. We find so often, don't we, that it just sort of goes into a black hole after implementation where reps aren't really sure exactly how to use it. They're not comfortable with it. And so again, they go back to avoiding it at all costs. And training isn't a one and done. Your business changes, your use of the system changes. So there's going to be kind of an ongoing need to keep everybody fresh. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, not only that, but there's different versions of technology. And every time a different version comes out, sometimes the way you do things has changed to a new way of doing things. And that's very upsetting to people if they don't understand. They get frustrated. They don't want to use the system. They blame the system. But there's no substitute for training, no matter what, whether it's technology or business processes or product information. Being well trained gives you confidence. And certainly when you're confident, you're going to interact better with all involved. So I certainly have to agree that the training is necessary and it's essential for all.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen. We hope that these have inspired some thoughts for you and your organization. Of course, if we can be of help, please reach out. We love to assist. Happy holidays to all and happy selling.
Yeah, take care all.